Welcome back to the Growth Room. This is part 2 of our ultimate breakdown of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. In our first session, we pulled back the curtain on the fundamental rules of social hierarchies, learning how to protect our reputation, read human incentives, and master our internal emotional states. But the chessboard of power runs much deeper. In this final section, we are diving into the ultimate phase of strategy, Laws 32 through 48. We will explore how to command public attention, break down complex social barriers, and maintain a highly adaptable personal brand in a fast-evolving world. More importantly, we will tie all 48 laws together into an ethical, modern framework designed specifically for leaders, professionals, and creators who want to build lasting influence with absolute integrity. Let's pick up right where we left off and master the remaining laws. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. The meaning: every individual has a specific weakness, an insecurity, an uncontrollable emotion, or a secret pleasure. Once you discover this hidden vulnerability, their thumbscrew, you can use it to influence their behavior or protect yourself against their actions. Historical example: Cardinal de Retz, a master political negotiator in 17th century France, realized that the powerful Cardinal Mazarine's hidden weakness was a desperate desire to be seen as a brilliant military strategist. By subtly praising his tactical mind rather than his political skills, Retz easily guided Mazarine into signing major treaties. Modern workplace example: a sharp HR director notices that a highly brilliant but defensive executive constantly acts out because of a deep-seated fear of being made obsolete by younger tech talent. The director diffuses the executive's hostility by intentionally involving them in leading-edge AI training programs. Ethical interpretation: exploiting someone's personal traumas or deep insecurities for malicious leverage is toxic and unacceptable. However, this law serves as an invaluable tool for empathy and emotional intelligence. Understanding what drives or frightens a colleague allows you to communicate with them more effectively. Practical lesson: listen and observe carefully during casual moments. Pay attention to what makes people defensive, what makes them boast, or what makes them anxious. When you understand their emotional triggers, you can avoid unnecessary conflicts and build deeper professional alignment. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. The meaning: the way you carry yourself often determines how the world treats you. A casual, insecure, or overly submissive demeanor invites disrespect and low valuation. By projecting a dignified, confident, and self-respecting presence, you subtly signal that you belong at the top. Historical example: Christopher Columbus was not born into nobility. He was the son of a humble weaver. Yet, when pitching his radical maritime voyages to the King and Queen of Spain, he carried himself with such absolute dignity, poise, and royal confidence that they treated him as an equal and granted him the massive funding he required. Modern workplace example: a mid-level consultant steps into an enterprise-level corporate meeting. Instead of acting nervous or apologizing for taking up time, they dress immaculately, speak with a calm, measured cadence, and present their insights with the unshakable poise of a veteran industry executive. Ethical interpretation: this law is not an endorsement of unearned arrogance, snobbery, or treating others with condescension. It is an exercise in healthy self-worth and professional dignity. If you do not value your own time, mind, and presence, nobody else will. Practical lesson: upgrade your nonverbal communication. Maintain excellent posture, look people in the eye, speak with conviction, and eliminate self-deprecating filler words from your vocabulary. Carry yourself with the respect you expect to receive from the world. Law 35. Master the art of timing. The meaning: speed and action are meaningless without perfect timing. Never look hurried or anxious. Impatience betrays a total lack of self-control. Learn to step back and read the cultural, economic, and emotional winds so you know exactly when to strike, when to wait, and when to pivot. Historical example: Joseph Fouché survived the bloody French Revolution, the tyrannical reign of Napoleon, and the restoration of the monarchy. He achieved this impossible feat by mastering long-term timing, quietly waiting in the background while volatile factions destroyed one another, stepping into power only when a new regime was firmly established. Modern workplace example. A savvy entrepreneur notices a massive tech hype cycle peaking. Instead of rushing to launch an undercooked copycat product at the top of the bubble, they wait for the market crash, buy up distressed assets for pennies, and launch a sustainable enterprise when the dust settles. Ethical interpretation. Impatience is driven by ego and fear, often leading to sloppy execution and burned partnerships. Mastering timing requires radical emotional control, patience, and a deep respect for systemic cycles. Practical lesson. Divide your strategy into 3 operational speeds: long time, defensive patience, observing trends, force time, disrupting your competitor's rhythm, and end time, relentless, rapid execution once the window opens. Never let anxiety dictate your timeline. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. The meaning, by acknowledging a petty problem, a minor critic, or an unattainable goal, you give it existence, power, and credibility. When you engage with a small enemy, you elevate them to your level. Often, the most powerful move is to treat them with absolute indifference. Historical example. When the lower-ranking Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa was raiding border towns, United States President Woodrow Wilson sent a massive military expedition to capture him. The long, highly publicized, and ultimately failed wild goose chase only elevated Villa into a legendary folk hero while humiliating the U.S. military. Modern workplace example. A major software corporation faces a bitter, highly public attack from a tiny, unknown competitor on social media. Instead of issuing a defensive press release that would grant the competitor massive free publicity, the corporation completely ignores the noise and focuses on their product. Ethical interpretation. This law offers a fantastic lesson in emotional energy management. Getting drawn into every single argument or obsessing over things outside your control robs you of your strategic focus. Indifference preserves your peace of mind and starves petty conflicts of oxygen. Practical lesson. Stop feeding the trolls, whether in the office or online. If a minor issue cannot be easily fixed or does not truly threaten your core objectives, withdraw your attention completely. Let your silence be your definitive answer. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. The meaning. Striking visuals and grand symbolic gestures create an aura of power that captivates everyone. By staging spectacles full of visual elements and radiant symbols, you heighten your presence. No one notices what you are actually doing behind the scenes. Historical example. The Grand Canal Festivals of Venice were meticulously engineered by the ruling doges. By filling the waters with golden barges, dramatic masquerades, and breathtaking fireworks, they kept the populace completely mesmerized, distracting them from underlying economic hardships and political restructuring. Modern workplace example. A tech founder doesn't just read an earnings report. They stage an Apple-style keynote event with dramatic lighting, custom cinematic backdrops, and an inspiring product demonstration that captures massive media coverage. Ethical interpretation, visual communication is incredibly powerful. As a leader, using imagery and symbols can rally teams around a shared vision. However, creating empty illusions to hide operational failures or fraudulent numbers is a severe breach of trust. Practical lesson. Do not rely solely on raw text or data to convince people. Invest in the design and delivery of your ideas. Use compelling visual presentations, powerful metaphors, and well-designed product launches to make your hard work memorable. Law 38. Think as you like, but act like others. The meaning. If you make a show of going against the times, flaunting your unconventional ideas and unorthodox ways, people will think that you only want attention and that you look down upon them. They will find a way to punish you. It is far safer to blend in and nurture your original thoughts with a select few. Historical example. Tommaso Campanella, a Renaissance philosopher, held radical heretical views about religion and politics. by loudly preaching his ideas to the public. He was arrested by the Inquisition, tortured, and imprisoned for 27 years. Only when he learned to pretend to conform did he secure his eventual release. Modern workplace example. A creative marketing professional joins a deeply conservative, traditional corporate bank. Instead of immediately mocking the company's dress code and culture, they dress professionally, adopt the internal terminology, and gradually introduce progressive digital strategies from within the system. Ethical interpretation. This law is an exercise in tactical humility and cultural adaptation. It is about understanding that you cannot influence an organization if you alienate everyone on day one. Blending in allows you to build the social capital required to implement real, lasting change. Practical lesson: respect the cultural norms of the environment you are in. Build credibility and trust by speaking the local language first. Once your position is unassailable, you can elegantly introduce your revolutionary ideas. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. The meaning: anger and emotion are strategically counterproductive. You must always stay calm and objective. If you can make your enemies angry while staying completely poised yourself, you gain a massive psychological advantage. You throw them off balance, causing them to make fatal tactical errors. Historical example. During the late Han Dynasty, the brilliant strategist Chuko Liang repeatedly sent taunting letters and even women's clothing to his rival, General Sima Ai, to provoke him into charging out of a highly fortified defensive position. Though Sima Ai saw through the trap, his emotional soldiers grew so agitated that they nearly broke discipline. Modern workplace example. During a high-stakes corporate negotiation, an aggressive vendor purposely uses condescending language to make the opposing procurement officer lose their temper. By remaining completely unfazed, calm, and data-driven, the procurement officer secures a significantly better contract rate. Ethical interpretation. Deliberately manipulating others into emotional distress is toxic. However, the protective takeaway is crucial. Never let anyone control your emotional state. Recognizing when a competitor is trying to provoke you allows you to neutralize their strategy with calm poise. Practical lesson. When someone attacks your ideas, mocks your strategy, or tries to provoke you, do not take the bait. Take a deep breath, lower your vocal register, and stick strictly to the data and objective facts. Your calm under fire is your ultimate superpower. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. The meaning: what is offered for free is often dangerous. It usually involves a hidden trick or a psychological obligation. What has real worth is well worth paying for. By paying your own way, you stay completely free of emotional debts, guilt, and strategic obligations. Excellence requires investment. Historical example. The ancient Roman nobility built an intricate network of political power through clientela. Wealthy patricians would give free food, legal aid, and financial gifts to poor citizens. In return, these citizens were legally and socially obligated to vote for them and fight in their private political factions. Modern workplace example. A mid-level manager accepts a lavish, all-expenses-paid international vacation from an outside software vendor. 6 months later, when the company evaluates software contracts, the manager feels an overwhelming psychological pressure to recommend that vendor, even though a competitor offers a vastly superior product. Ethical interpretation. This is a beautiful law of personal sovereignty and professional ethics. It encourages self-reliance and clean compliance. Accepting favors, cheap shortcuts, or unearned gifts always clouds your objective judgment and ties your hands. Practical lesson. Always clear your own path. Pay for the software you use, compensate your team generously, and never accept professional gifts that could compromise your ethical boundaries. True independence is priceless. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. The meaning: what happens first always appears better and more original than what comes after. If you succeed a legendary leader or have a famous parent, you will have to accomplish double their achievements to outshine them. Do not get lost in their shadow. Establish your own distinct identity and change the game entirely. Historical example. Alexander the Great grew up in the massive shadow of his father, King Philip of Macedon, who had conquered Greece. Instead of simply maintaining his father's kingdom, Alexander completely rewrote the playbook, marching his armies across Asia to conquer the known world, forging an entirely unique historical legacy. Modern workplace example. A new CEO takes over a highly successful tech company right after a legendary, charismatic founder steps down. Instead of trying to mimic the founder's unique management style and product vision, the new CEO shifts the company's focus toward global operational efficiency and enterprise scaling. Ethical interpretation. This law highlights the importance of psychological differentiation. Trying to live someone else's legacy leads to imposter syndrome and strategic failure. True leadership requires matching the current reality with your authentic strengths. Practical lesson. If you take over a highly successful project or role, honor the past, but establish your own unique vision early on. Pivot the focus to a new arena or metric where you can set your own baseline of excellence. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. The meaning, trouble can often be traced to a single, highly toxic individual. The instigator, the arrogant leader, or the corporate bully. If you allow them to operate freely, they will infect the rest of the group. Do not wait for the trouble they cause to multiply. Isolate or eliminate their influence, and the rest will fall into place. Historical example. In the ancient world, when the Athenian politician Alcibiades was exiled from Athens, the complex political conspiracies and anti-democratic factions he had built within the city immediately collapsed because they lacked his unique, unifying charisma and strategic drive. Modern workplace example. An HR director identifies a highly toxic, senior executive who routinely bullies team members and leaks confidential company data to sow discord. Despite the executive's high technical skills, the company decisively terminates their employment, and the department's morale and productivity skyrocket instantly. Ethical interpretation. In an organization, protecting the cultural ecosystem is vital. Allowing a toxic element to persist out of fear of conflict destroys the psychological safety of the entire group. Striking the shepherd means having the courage to remove bad actors decisively. Practical lesson. Do not waste energy fighting every small conflict. Look for the root cause, the person or policy driving the friction. Address that primary issue directly and cleanly, and the surrounding problems will often resolve themselves. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. The meaning, coercion and brute force create a reaction that will eventually destroy your influence. You must seduce others into wanting to move in your direction. A person you win over through psychological alignment and emotional resonance becomes a fiercely loyal ally. Historical example. Chuko was tasked with conquering the southern kingdoms. Instead of simply crushing them militarily, he captured their legendary tribal leader, Menghua, and released him 7 distinct times. Overwhelmed by Liang's incredible magnanimity, respect, and emotional wisdom, Menghua swore eternal loyalty to the empire, securing permanent peace. Modern workplace example. A modern leader launching a major structural corporate reorganization doesn't just issue a top-down mandate. They hold town halls, listen intently to employee concerns, and explicitly show how the shift will elevate everyone's career path, earning genuine buy-in. Ethical interpretation. This is the absolute core of ethical leadership and high emotional intelligence. True power is not about forcing compliance. It is about inspiring cooperation. It requires empathy, deep listening, and aligning your goals with the values of those you serve. Practical lesson. Stop dictating orders. Take the time to understand what your team members, your clients, or your audience care about. Frame your strategic initiatives in a way that respects their intelligence, speaks to their goals, and elevates their value. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. The meaning, when you mirror your opponents, doing exactly as they do, they cannot figure out your strategy. The mirror effect mocks and humiliates them, causing them to overreact. By holding a mirror up to their psyches, You touch their inner vulnerabilities and make them look at reality clearly. Historical example. The legendary strategist and General Alcibiades was famous for his chameleonic ability to mirror whatever culture he was visiting. In Sparta, he lived an incredibly disciplined Spartan lifestyle. In Persia, he adopted lavish, luxurious customs. This absolute mirroring allowed him to disarm hosts everywhere and gain immediate diplomatic access. Modern workplace example. A client uses highly aggressive, passive-aggressive negotiation tactics during a project scope discussion. The agency lead calmly mirrors their exact formatting, professional boundaries, and communication timelines, forcing the client to realize how unreasonable their behavior appears. Ethical interpretation. Mirroring can be a highly effective therapeutic and communication tool. In negotiations and relationships, mirroring a person's posture or vocabulary builds subconscious rapport. Defensively, mirroring bad behavior objectively lets people experience the consequences of their own actions. Practical lesson. Use the mirror to build connection or set clear boundaries. If someone is being uncooperative, quietly mirror their exact professional stance. It forces self-reflection without you ever needing to launch an unprovoked verbal attack. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. The meaning. Everyone understands the abstract need for change, but on a psychological level, human beings are deeply bound to familiar habits and traditions. If you introduce too much radical change all at once, you will create massive anxiety and a violent backlash. Make your innovations feel like a gentle, natural evolution of the past. Historical example. When Thomas Cromwell helped King Henry VIII break away from the Catholic Church in England, he left the daily church rituals, Latin prayers, and visual aesthetics completely unchanged for years. The public barely noticed the massive structural and political shift because the familiar surface remained intact. Modern workplace example. A new product manager takes over a legacy enterprise software platform instead of completely redesigning the user interface overnight, which would infuriate millions of existing users. They gradually roll out incremental updates over 12 months, preserving the core navigation pathways. Ethical interpretation. This law is an exercise in empathy and systems thinking. Change is stressful. Leaders who force sudden, chaotic disruptions onto a community without respecting their history create organizational trauma. Thoughtful pacing honors human adaptation. Practical lesson. When leading a transformation, always anchor your new initiatives in familiar traditions. Use the phrase, "This is the natural next step of what we have always done beautifully." Respect the past to secure the future. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. The meaning, appearing better than others is always dangerous, but looking completely flawless and without weaknesses breeds envy and resentment. Envy creates silent, invisible enemies who will plot your downfall behind your back. It is smart to occasionally display minor faults and admit to harmless vices. Historical example. Sir Walter Raleigh was one of Queen Elizabeth I's favorite courtiers. Handsome, brilliant, wealthy, and a master poet. His absolute, dazzling perfection inspired such toxic envy among the rest of the court that when the Queen passed away, his rivals immediately fabricated treason charges against him, leading to his execution. Modern workplace example. A highly successful startup founder who just closed a massive funding round posts an authentic update on social media detailing a major hiring mistake they made early on, sharing the raw lesson they learned and humanizing their journey. Ethical interpretation. Perfection is an unachievable, isolating illusion. True human connection thrives on vulnerability. Sharing your mistakes, your lessons learned, and your minor quirks makes you approachable, accessible, and deeply trusted as a mentor. Practical lesson. Stop trying to look like you have everything figured out perfectly. Admit when you make a mistake. Share credit for your successes with your team. And let people see the real, human journey behind your professional achievements. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. The meaning. The moment of victory is often the moment of greatest danger. In the rush of success, arrogance and overconfidence can push you past the goal you originally set. By going too far, you create more enemies than you can handle. Never let ambition override your long-term strategy. Set a clear goal and stop when you hit it. Historical example. After successfully defending Greece from the massive Persian Empire, the Athenian general Pausanias became so consumed by his own glory that he began dressing like a Persian king and treating his allies with absolute contempt. Horrified by his sudden arrogance, his own city turned against him and starved him to death. Modern workplace example. A marketing agency sets a goal to sign 5 new enterprise clients this quarter. They hit the mark easily, but driven by short-term greed, they sign 10 more. Their internal infrastructure breaks, the quality of their creative work plummets, and they lose all 15 clients by next quarter. Ethical interpretation. This law is the ultimate lesson in temperance and self-control. Ambition is an asset, but unchecked greed destroys sustainability. True power lies in knowing exactly what enough looks like and protecting your core victories. Practical lesson. Define your metrics of success before you enter the arena. When you hit your target, whether it is a revenue milestone, a negotiation point, or a project completion, step back, secure your ground, celebrate your team, and plan your next cycle deliberately. Law 48. Assume formlessness. The meaning, by taking a rigid, predictable shape, you make yourself completely vulnerable to attack. If you have an unyielding plan, a fixed identity, or a static strategy, your competitors can easily map your movements and neutralize you. Embrace absolute adaptability. Remain fluid like water, and accept that nothing is certain. Historical example. The ancient city-state of Sparta built a highly rigid, unyielding military society focused entirely on land combat and strict isolation. When the geopolitical landscape shifted and required naval strategy, complex financial systems, and global diplomacy, Sparta completely failed to adapt and collapsed into historical obscurity. Modern workplace example. A classic print media company refuses to embrace digital content, social video, and AI curation tools, clinging strictly to their legacy printing presses. Within years, agile, decentralized, independent creators completely disrupt their business model, driving them into bankruptcy. Ethical interpretation. Formlessness is not about having a lack of moral principles or core values. It is about having absolute flexibility in your tactics. The modern world changes rapidly. Clinging to outdated methods out of stubborn nostalgia is a recipe for organizational ruin. Practical lesson. Stay highly adaptable. Keep upskilling, experiment with new technologies, listen to dissenting perspectives, and be ready to pivot your business model or career path at a moment's notice. The most flexible element always guides the system. Final summary and action plan. Seeking long-term professional influence is a marathon of strategic self-awareness. The biggest mistakes individuals make are acting impulsively out of emotional insecurity, spreading their energy too thin across too many initiatives, and letting their ego outshine the strategic goals of the organization. To ensure you apply these historical lessons with absolute wisdom and integrity, execute this 4-point practical action plan. 1. Step back before you react. When confronted with corporate politics, a toxic colleague, or a sudden crisis, enforce a mandatory 20-second pause. Master your internal emotional state, Law 39, before executing a calm, data-driven response. 2. Audit your daily calendar. Identify where your energy is currently leaking. Eliminate low-value, noisy meetings and concentrate your absolute focus, Law 23, on mastering a rare, specialized skill set that keeps you highly valuable. 3. Build deep strategic alignment. In every professional pitch, email, or meeting this week, explicitly frame your requests around what the other person stands to gain, Law 13. Win their mind by respecting their immediate incentives. 4. Protect your professional brand. Deliver consistently on your promises, honor your core ethical values, and let your tangible, high-quality work do the talking, Law 9. Build a reputation for integrity that precedes you in every room. Go out into the world with bold conviction, absolute flexibility, and an unwavering commitment to responsible leadership. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Growth Room. If this comprehensive, ethical breakdown of the 48 laws of power brought real strategic value to your career journey and deepened your understanding of human psychology, please take a moment to like this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notification bell so you never miss our upcoming world-class audiobook summaries on leadership, business, psychology, and personal transformation. I personally read and reflect on your comments every single day. They create an incredibly meaningful space for community discussion here in the room. I want to hear your thoughts directly, so please leave a meaningful comment below answering. Which of the 48 laws surprised you the most during our breakdown? Which law do you believe is the most vital for navigating today's fast-paced digital world? Do you agree that true strategic power must always be balanced with deep ethical responsibility? And finally, which brilliant book should we summarize next here in the room? Share this video with an ambitious friend, a colleague, or a fellow entrepreneur who is building their vision. Keep learning, keep observing, and keep growing. We will see you right here next time in the Growth Room.